Hello and welcome to Jazz After Dark. How you guys doing out there tonight? Hey, it's been a while actually. We got our Flaviar thing in here. We have a discount code. I highly doubt we get anything for it, but if you like, check them out. Flaviar.com. There's these cool little samples of things. I just enjoy it. I'm just bringing that to you. Like I said, I think you get a discount if we have a code. They don't send us anything. It's just something they were nice enough to do. Tonight we'll be trying Redemption Weeded Bourbon Whiskey. Oh, okay. And we're going to talk about these big stocks. You know, they call them the Magnificent Seven. Ooh. We're going to talk about that, do a little history lesson here, and see if you should be buying those stocks now. While we do that, grab a drink, come enjoy, and hang out with me. This is a laid back class. We're just hanging out here, right? This is not quick. Redemption Weeded Bourbon Whiskey says there should be a lot of. Let's see, they got this little guy here. Probably see it a little bit better there. It says you should be getting some chocolate, some mint, some pear. That doesn't sound good. I get the pear. Okay, I like the pear kind of. Yeah. A little leafy, ginger, spicy. Mmm. You know what? I've had this before. I recognize the bottle there. It's good. It is good. You really start getting that pear there towards the end. Anyways, I hope you have a drink and you're ready to enjoy with me here. I'm gonna talk about these Magnificent Seven. Actually, it's getting better. It's starting to taste better. Yep. Redemption Weeded Bourbon Whiskey. Maybe I've only had regular Redemption. All right. Let's get right to it, man. Let's just whoa, really close today. They call it the Magnificent Seven. It makes up 29% of the S&P right now. What I did, I've got the Magnificent Seven as a portfolio. So, in other words, what if you only invested in just that? That's all I was trying to show. Basically, you'd be sitting at an 83% gain right now. There's those 7 stocks, right? You think, oh, you're supposed to be diverse, but you mean to tell me I'd have been up 83%. What I also put in here was the S&P, NASDAQ, and the Dow, just so you could see. The NASDAQ is just blowing away everything else, so that's up almost 40%. And actually, if you add in the last 2 days, it's close to 40%. S&P 13 and the Dow down here with just a few points year to date. So I get the question a lot, see the comments a lot. Why didn't we just buy these stocks? Even if there's only a little bit left in the move or there's a lot more left in the move, why don't we just buy those? We're obviously outperforming. Shouldn't we participate in that? And hey, I don't have a good answer for that other than to say, well, is this normal? Right? If I'd have done this 20 years ago and picked the best 10 or 7, 9, whatever stocks back then, would it have played out? I don't know. Then you might say, well, this time is different. No. What about meme stocks? This time's not different. What about pot stocks? This time's not different. 3D stocks, not different. Crypto stocks, not different, right? The no earnings growth stocks. Remember old Kathy Woods there with we're just going to buy these companies that'll have massive upside potential, but right now they don't make any money. No, that time wasn't different either. So, I don't want to start with that kind of, SPACs, IPOs, right? We've seen all of that. So, all right, let's get into it. What I did is tried something. This is not cherry picking. I just literally said 2000 seems like a good time. I'll go back to the year 2000. It also is a bit of a research thing for me. I didn't want to spend all night doing this. I said, okay, well, let's just pick. I didn't do 7 stocks, I did 10. Let's say that in the year 2000, for no other reason other than just 2000, I'm going to do 2005 as well. Let's say you picked the best 10 stocks. You'd have done well, right? The best 10 stock. Obviously, they were the best 10 stocks. You would have done well. So let's pretend that you were able to figure that out. Would it have panned out in the long run, or were you better off just doing it for that time period? So here we go. What we did was said in the year 2000, we're going to compare the performance to the S&P. You got General Electric, ExxonMobil, Procter & Gamble, Citigroup, Bank of America, Walmart, Microsoft, AIG, Johnson & Johnson, and Pfizer. And nope, actually, I'm going to do this in real time. This is backwards. I paste. This one should be here. So the stock names are backwards, right? I'm not going to bother with it. You get the gist of it. Because Bank of America was not in the equation in 2000 as far as being the top 10. Anyways, So using this list here for this performance here, this is what happened. So basically, your top 10 holdings over time, and I'm just going, to now. That's all I can do. They didn't pan out. The S&P would have done a lot better there. The stocks that you picked then had a great year. You can see it just ever so slightly there on the screen, but ultimately they did not outperform even for the most part going through the years forward. Now, these 10 stocks made up 23.5% of the total S&P. Right here, we're at 29%. So whereas I get frustrated about that sometimes, and I think there's 7 stocks that make up 30% of the S&P, it's not wildly abnormal for that to happen. And my own sort of look back proves it, right? 23.5%. So be it. The lesson there is no, it didn't pan out in the long run. And in fact, these stocks are in 2005. If you'd have bought 10% of each one of those, they made up 20.4% of the index, which is still a lot. But you notice how some of them are not even on a list. Watch them switch. Yeah. Oh, there you go. You lost Intel, right? You gained Bank of America. You lost Cisco. See what's happening there? So the best performers turned out to be different things, different focuses in life, more tech and finance driven, less industrial driven. So nonetheless, in 2005, if you did the exact same thing, yeah, right there, you did okay. But eventually the S&P overtook you, and fascinating right in here, the S&P fell less than the top 10 stocks. That's kind of interesting. And the top 10 that you would have picked there took longer to recover. In the meantime, the S&P is leaving you in the dust to the tune of 200%. And so I'm not opposed to, buying great stocks that are in favor, that have strong earnings, and obviously are very, much beloved overall. But yeah, I'm not going to say I'm going to be someone who chases, right? And that's really the best answer that I have to that question. Shouldn't we just buy those stocks, Dustin? Yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? You know what I mean? I should have played the right Powerball numbers, last week when whoever won the, lots of billions of dollars. So all I can do is look back and go, well, is it a strategy? Like the dogs of the Dow. Is the dogs of the Dow a strategy? Is buying value stocks versus growth stocks, is it a viable strategy? No, they're the same thing, by the way. We'll do that on our next video. It's the exact same thing. So if you look at that, by the way, value versus growth stocks, they essentially have the same average performance just over the long run. Sometimes one outperforms the other. Yeah, I get that. But now I'm rambling. So the point being, you get it, right? We're not going to chase that. We certainly want to participate. We want to have that as part of the portfolio. It is the only reason, not all of them, but they are the reason why we are dramatically outperforming the S&P in our funds. And I'm thankful, but in the same respect, I'm not going to sell off everything else and just go all in on that. And I don't think anybody is really asking to do that anyways. But there you go. A little lesson for tonight. Cheers, right? Okay. Moral of the story, Redemption Wheated Bourbon Whiskey. Yeah, it's a winner. It's a winner. I don't know that I love it. I actually think Bardstown is my new favorite. But anyways, that's it. Have a great rest of your evening. Thanks for learning with me tonight. Hope you did learn something, and see how it plays out. Maybe we'll come back 20 years from now and do that. See how this played out, right? All right, see ya.